Well, here we are, dear viewer. It's been quite the journey since Force Awakens launched the new era of Disney Star Wars back in 2015, but we're almost at the end of our long road now. It's just a couple of days until the gates of our local movie theatres are thrown open and the unwashed masses are permitted to flock inside to bask in the glory that is the Rise of Skywalker. One of the most anticipated movies of the year, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. But what delights await us when the curtains go up and that opening crawl begins to play? Will we get the answers we've been looking for? Will it provide a resolution to the Skywalker saga? Will Rey and Kylo get together? Seriously, does anyone actually care at this point? Now, I'm not a patient man by nature, so I've decided I just can't wait until opening night to learn all about this movie. I wanted to get some fair, honest, and well thought out opinions from the people who've actually seen it. People who really know what they're talking about, and who won't be swayed by petty bribery from Disney or the possibility of backlash from online activists. And where better to go for such things than our esteemed access media overlords on Twitter. Since the premiere was held last night, those involved have begun to share their views on social media, so let's dive right in and explore this together, shall we? And where better to begin than this little gem from everyone's favourite movie expert and strictly impartial reviewer, Scott Mendelson. At worst, I expected The Rise of Skywalker to be a well-made movie that I didn't like or whose story choices I disagreed with. I wasn't expecting a genuinely bad movie with video game plotting, thin characters, weak action, and endless exposition of no consequence. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking indeed, Scott, and all the more crushing because nobody ever saw it coming. I mean, who could have thought that a movie based around a trio of new characters with all the depth, complexity, personality, and emotional resonance of a Taylor Swift song could possibly fail to capture our hearts and minds? Who could ever have predicted that staging the charge of the Light Brigade along the hull of a copy-pasted Star Destroyer would come across as weak and stupid? And what absolute bounder would envision that a movie with at least 6 different filmed endings, written by a man mostly known for his ability to slap a flashy coat of paint on someone else's ideas, and that was still going through reshoots until a few weeks before the premiere, could possibly end up with a weak derivative plot? It boggles the mind, really. Also, how about this glowing review from Mike Ryan? Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is certainly the most convoluted Star Wars. There's a lot I liked, but the first half gets so bogged down with exposition and new plot doodads and beacons and transmitters, it feels like it should have been 3 movies on its own. I think you have Rian Johnson to thank for that one, Mike. Also, your comments are echoed by Chris Taylor, who says, "The Rise of Skywalker is a lot. It's like 9 movies of plot in one. Going to take me about 9 days to process." You know, it's weird, but reading comments like these gives me the strange impression that the first act of Rise of Skywalker is so long and heavy on exposition because the writing team were forced to desperately try to cobble together an entirely new foundational narrative to build this movie on top of, because Mr. Johnson bravely demolished all of the main plot threads in the second movie, leaving us with nowhere to start from and nowhere to go from a narrative point of view. But then, what the fuck would I know about it? The final comment I chanced upon is from John Campia, one of the biggest supporters of Disney Star Wars, who writes, "There are a few great moments, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna love this movie. Unfortunately, I'm just not one of them." No kidding, John. Somehow I suspect you're not going to be alone on that one. Now, obviously this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to media reviews, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more in the days and weeks to come. But I do think it's kind of interesting to compare the less than glowing reviews of these men to the wild, some would even say paid for, praise lavished on The Last Jedi when it came out. They just couldn't say enough good things about that movie, and look how it turned out. The fact they're now openly breaking ranks with their Disney overlords and daring to critique Rise of Skywalker before it even releases should tell you everything you need to know about this film's prospects. Abandon ship, everyone. Get clear while you can. Not you though, Ryan. You can stay on the ship, my friend. Anyway, you may be wondering when, or if, I'm going to be allowing the glory of Rise of Skywalker to wash over me, like that time I went on a brewery tour and climbed into one of the beer vats, and then I spent 2 weeks in hospital. Well, the good news is that I'll be lining up to see it on Thursday night, after a few aperitifs to loosen me up. And with luck, I should have enough coherent thoughts together to offer up my own opinions the following day. I don't know for sure what lies ahead, but I can tell you one thing for sure, it's gonna be interesting. I guess it's not just Santa that hands out gifts at this time of year. As it turns out, Disney and Lucasfilm may just have given us the biggest one of all, and the drinker will be there to enjoy it. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Go away now.